I happened to see this guy. Oh man, that is cool. All right guys, so this is my Florida king snake. And this is one of the snakes that I bring with me when I do educational shows, birthdays, stuff like that, because this is just really one of the best snakes for introducing people and kind of getting them over their fear of snakes, because this guy's so laid back, really, really pretty. Does a great job of just kind of doing what he's doing here, which is just kind of hanging onto my hand and exploring around, and you just kind of feel his muscles and scales and stuff like that. And people can kind of see that snakes are not slimy, that they're not mean or aggressive or anything like that. This guy's just really curious more than anything. And this is just one of my favorite snakes. I grew up in South Florida, and this is a little bit more yellow than what was typical where I saw. But this is also, you know, a captive bred, probably by many generations, Florida king snake, where they've basically bred for those colors. But this is basically what I grew up on when I would see king snakes on the rare occasions that I would growing up in Florida. And then when I moved up to Georgia, they have the eastern king snake, which is essentially the same snake, but just black with yellow chains, and has a really big range from Georgia all the way up through New Jersey and all the way up the East Coast. And they get their name king snakes because these guys eat other snakes, including venomous snakes like copperheads, cottonmouths, probably baby rattlesnakes, in addition to other snakes, lizards, frogs, turtle eggs. They like to eat turtle eggs. When turtles are nesting is actually when I'm most likely to see eastern king snakes, when I'm out looking for turtles. I'll get to those sandy high banks, and you know, I'll see all the raided nests and eggshells, and it's not unusual for me to come across a king snake, which is pretty cool. It's a kind of a different way of herping, because I know a lot of the other guys that look for king snakes, you know, have different weather conditions and other things they look for. But for me, turtle nesting is really the best time to find them. But really awesome animals. This guy is right around 4.5 feet if he were to stretch out, which he's so wrapped up, I don't think he's gonna do. King snakes can get up to right around the 6 foot mark. I even had one that was bigger than that. It was nearly 7 feet, but that's super rare. Most king snakes are gonna be 4.5, 5 feet for a big one. But awesome snakes. I really love this guy, and just a beautiful animal. I'm always stoked to be able to bring this guy outside, and really I think it's essential to let snakes get outside and get some natural sunlight. I know there's kind of over the last decade or so been a trend of kind of keeping snakes in racks and tubs, and they kind of almost never see the light of day. They're just always in some tub on some rack with, you know, maybe a dozen other snakes. And you know, while they can live that way, I can't help but think that it's better for them to be able to get out, get some real, you know, air, get some real sunlight. They really seem to come alive when they actually get some sun and get some time outside, and it's just so much more fulfilling. I mean, there's all kinds of smells and all kinds of things he can kind of get into and explore, and it's also a really good way to see, you know, while that bright coloration seems to stand out, as soon as this guy gets into some grass, I mean, you can see how easily he kind of disappears. Kind of see that part of his body, and then the other part is hidden because of that cryptic coloration. But they can also dig into stuff, so not gonna let him get too far, but really, really cool. And it's just so good for them to be able to explore like that, and to be able to kind of look around and find, you know, things to get into, and just, they call it enrichment, you know, and it really just enriches their quality of life to be able to do what a wild king snake would do, which is kind of root around and look for stuff. See if we can get him out here in the sun. Over here, you can get a good look at kind of the whole length of this guy. So he's on the ground there. There's my feet there. You can see he's pretty good size, Florida king snake. And they're not as heavy bodied as other snakes. King snakes tend to be a little bit narrower of a build, and then as they get older they will kind of fill out a bit more, especially with the really big males. But this one is, I would say, oh, there we go. That's a neat little defensive behavior. The head shake startled him a little bit, but he's fine. But he is just sitting here basically right now just kind of loving being in the sun. So yeah, this is something I do with all my snakes. I know you guys normally tune in to see turtles, but every now and then it's fun to mix it up with some other stuff. So this is my Florida king snake. Took a walk by this stock tank setup, and I happened to see this guy. Oh man, that is cool. He was just luring. You can see his, for whatever reason, I guess he got a scratch or something. He lost an eye, but this is the old Lloyd Christmas. We've had this guy around for a while. He is a Western alligator snapping turtle. You can tell he's got that super long tapered head. Let's see if we can get this exposure right. There we go. And he has been really active lately, and just a really awesome looking turtle. Look at that. You can see that eye. I'm not sure what happens. Sometimes these guys, when they're wedging themselves and stuff, they'll actually get their eye gouged by accident or get a scratch and it gets an infection. But it happened 2 or 3 years ago and doesn't seem to bother him, because if you come to this side, you can see me just fine with that eye right there. Yeah, he is a good looking turtle, and he has been living on a lot of snails and crayfish and doing a lot of luring for fish in here. And you know, this is just a basic 150-gallon stock tank, and I just have it filled to the brim, have a little cover that goes over this, and I popped it off because I was taking some of these dead plants out of here. And he just has a little spot he hangs out at. It's pretty cool. Good to see him. Really nice shell growth. You know, that's what you want to see. You want to see nice straight keels. You want to see them nice and alert and looking like their environment. And you can see right here on this log, you can see all the little snails and stuff that live in here that this guy feeds on. So we're just going to put him back in here, not bother him too much. I recently got a really cool photo of this guy underwater luring. I'm just gonna let him kind of disappear back into his habitat. Adios, amigo. This is a Texas map turtle, and this is one of the first turtles that actually started coming out when it started feeling like spring. This one came from my buddy Matt Welk, and eventually this turtle is gonna live in the aquascape stream, but she overwintered this year in the pond. And I gotta say, I feel like some of the orange color on her face, she didn't necessarily have that much of when I got her. So it's neat how you put them outside and they just start to get all these interesting colors that they didn't necessarily have before. So pretty neat to see. Texas map turtle, Graptemes versa, or is it Texana? Leave a comment below if you know the scientific name of these, and you win a cookie. And what there is a couple of Gulf Coast box turtles hanging out right there, catching a little bit of sun, cryptic basking, and always cool to see these guys. I'm not going to bother them too much. They're just hiding out. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for liking them and commenting on them. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.